The rescue ship Helios 12 moved slowly through the black space. Ahead of it floated a broken dead world, Virex 9. No birds, no trees, no cities. Just ash, rock, and silence. Captain Rayner stood on the deck, staring at the dark planet. His hands were tight on the railing. "No signal," said Lieutenant Cora, checking her screen. "Same as before. No life, no sound, no data." It was the 6th mission sent to this planet in 5 years. All others had disappeared. Not a single body was ever found. Some called it cursed. Some said the planet was alive. Others refused to speak of it at all. "This is the last time we try," Captain Rayner said quietly. "Get the drones ready." As the crew prepared, the ship's sensors beeped loudly. "Wait!" shouted Cora. Something is moving. On the surface." Everyone turned to the main screen. A blurry image appeared. Dust was thick, but someone, was walking through it. "Is that a human?" asked the medic, Talon. The shape moved slowly, step by step. The wind blew hard, but the figure did not stop. A long coat waved behind, head down, bare hands, no helmet, no oxygen tank. "She should be dead," said Cora. Rayner leaned forward. "Zoom in." The camera focused closer. The dust cleared just enough. It was a woman. Her face was dirty, blood on her forehead, eyes empty. But she was walking, alive. No one said a word for a full minute. "Send a team," Rayner said at last. "Bring her in. Carefully." The shuttle touched down near the moving figure. 2 soldiers stepped out in full armor. The wind screamed around them, but the woman kept walking, slow but steady. "Ma'am, stop! We're here to help!" shouted one of the soldiers. She didn't reply, didn't look at them. She just kept walking toward the ship. The soldiers stepped in front of her. One reached out and gently touched her arm. The woman stopped. Her eyes lifted slowly. They were dark, tired, and strange, like she had seen things no human should see. "Where is your team?" the soldier asked. She opened her mouth. No sound, then just one word. "Gone." Back on Helios 12, the woman sat on a medical bed. She didn't blink much, didn't speak unless asked. Her clothes were torn. Her body showed signs of starvation, radiation, deep wounds, and still, she was alive. The crew watched through the glass as the medic ran tests. "No infection, no poison, no implant," said Talon. "But this shouldn't be possible. She's been out there for months, maybe years." "What's her name?" asked Rayner. "She doesn't say. Doesn't remember anything, just keeps repeating. The same words." "What words?" Talon looked nervous. "She says, 'Don't go back.'" Captain Rayner stared at the woman again. She looked human. But something was wrong. Her silence was heavy. Her presence filled the room like a shadow. That night, the power on the ship flickered. Doors opened on their own. Lights turned red for 2 seconds, then returned to normal. In the med bay, Talon checked her blood sample again. As he looked into the microscope, he saw something move inside. Not a cell, not bacteria. It moved like it was alive, like it was watching him. Suddenly, the lights went out. A scream echoed through the hallway. By the time the crew arrived, Talon was on the floor. Eyes wide open, no wound, no blood, no pulse. He was dead. The woman stood by the window, staring into space. "What happened?" Rayner shouted. "No sign of struggle," Cora said, shaking. "He just died." "Where was she?" Cora looked up. "Right next to him." Rayner walked into the med bay. The woman slowly turned her head. "Who are you?" he asked. She said nothing. He stepped closer. "Why are you still alive? What did this to you?" She looked into his eyes. "I told him," she said, voice like dry paper. "Don't go back." In the command room, the crew watched the footage again. They zoomed in on the surface video from earlier. And then, someone gasped. In the background, behind the woman, there was a shape in the dust. Not human, not animal. Something tall, with long arms, watching from far away. When she walked, it followed. But as the shuttle arrived, it stopped and vanished. Rayner sat alone in his chair thinking. The woman was human, but something from that planet came back with her. He could feel it. This wasn't a rescue. It was just the beginning. The woman sat alone in the medbay, her back straight, her hands still. No handcuffs, no chains. But she didn't try to run, she didn't even look afraid. Outside the glass, the crew watched her in silence. "She doesn't blink," whispered one soldier. "She just stares." Captain Rayner stood nearby, arms crossed. He had seen fear, madness, pain. But this woman, she was different. Calm. Cold. Too quiet. "We need answers," he said. "And I want them now." Lieutenant Cora entered the medbay with a recording tablet. She sat in front of the woman and pressed record. "Let's start simple," Cora said. "What's your name?" The woman looked at her slowly. "I don't know." "Where are you from?" "I don't know." Cora frowned. "Do you remember the planet?" The woman's eyes flickered. She touched her temple gently. "Dark. Dust. Screaming. But I don't know whose voice it was. Do you know how you survived?" The woman looked down at her hands. "I shouldn't have." Cora leaned in. "Then how?" The woman's voice dropped to a whisper. "Something wanted me to live." Later in the command room, the crew argued. "She has memory loss." "Maybe trauma," said the medic's assistant. "No. It's deeper than that," said Cora. "She remembers feelings, fear, pain, but not people, not names." Captain Rayner stayed quiet. "She said something wanted her to live," he said at last. "What does that mean?" No one answered. Just then, the lights flickered again. A cold wind passed through the hallway, but the doors were locked. At night, one of the soldiers, Private Dellin, woke up sweating. His heart was racing. He didn't know why. He walked toward the med bay, drawn by something he couldn't explain. Through the glass, he saw her still sitting, but her eyes were open wide now. She was staring at the ceiling and her mouth was moving slowly. He turned on the audio. She was speaking. But it wasn't English, not any known language. Just soft, strange sounds. Whispers, like she was answering someone. Dellin stepped back. He turned to leave and saw his own reflection in the glass. Behind him, for just a second, he saw a tall, thin shadow. Then nothing. In the morning, Dellin refused to leave his room. "She's not alone," he whispered. "There's something in her mind. And now, maybe in mine." Captain Rayner called for a deeper scan. The med team placed the woman inside the brain scanner pod. The machine hummed. After 5 minutes, the doctor stepped away, pale. "She has 2 wave patterns." "What does that mean?" asked Rayner. "One is her brain, normal human pattern. And the second? Not human." Rayner's voice dropped. "Alive?" "Yes," the doctor said. "And watching us. In the mess hall." Cora reviewed the shuttle footage again. She paused at the moment the woman looked back toward the dust. There. The tall shadow again. It had no face, no skin. Just shape. And it didn't walk. It glided. Cora played the audio from that moment. A soft, static rose. Then a whisper. Faint. Inhuman. And one word in English. "Stay." That evening, Captain Rayner sat in front of the woman himself. "No more lies," he said. "What followed you here?" She blinked. For the first time, she looked afraid. "I don't know what it is," she said. "But it lives in fear." "In fear?" "It feeds on it. It grows stronger when we are scared. My team, we were afraid. That's how it took them. One by one." Rayner leaned forward. "And you?" She looked away. "I stopped being afraid. I became empty. And it couldn't feed on me. That's why it let you live? She nodded. But now? She looked at him, eyes heavy with warning. You brought me back. And it's hungry again. That night, the ship's gravity glitched. People floated for 2 seconds, then dropped. Lights flickered, doors refused to open. Screens showed static images of strange symbols never seen before. In the med bay, the woman whispered to herself. One word, again and again. Run, run, run. Cora ran to the captain. We have to turn back. Get away from this planet. From her. But it was too late. The stars outside shifted, and far behind the ship, in the dark space between stars, a second signal appeared. Something was following them now. Something that wasn't there before. Something that remembered her and wanted her back. The crew of Helios 12 gathered in the command room. The ship was now far from Virex 9, but everyone still felt the cold breath of that dead planet. Strange things were happening on board. Lights flickered, shadows moved, dreams turned into nightmares. Captain, Raynor stared at the main screen. A second signal was still following them through space. It had no source, no shape, but it was there, always behind them. He turned to Cora. Dig into old files, he said. I want everything about the first mission to Virex 9. The truth, not the reports they gave to the public. Cora spent hours going through secret files. Most were locked, hidden behind red warnings. But she found something strange. A folder with the name Project Echo Fear. It was marked Top Secret. Inside were blurry images. One showed a group of people in black suits, faces hidden, landing on Virex 9 many years ago. Another showed a strange black structure, tall, sharp, and shining with symbols. And there was a video. Cora hit play. A man appeared on screen. He looked scared, breathing fast. His voice shook. This is Dr. Lynn Marrow's Team Echo Fear. We found something underground. It's not a building. It's a machine. It talks in thoughts. It sees your fear. And it learns from it. The screen went black. Another message appeared. Do not engage. Do not return. Let the planet sleep. Cora's heart raced. She turned to the captain. They knew. All this time. The first contact was a lie. They didn't find life. They woke up something. Meanwhile, the woman sat alone in her dark room. She stared at the wall. Her lips moved slowly. Memories were coming back now. Not clearly. Like broken glass, sharp, confusing. She saw faces. Her team, 12 people. All of them smart, strong, trained for danger, but nothing prepared them for that place. Flashback. She remembered landing on Virex 9 with her team. The sky was purple. The ground was dry and cracked. They wore black suits with oxygen tanks. The mission was to explore the strange energy signals under the surface. They found a tunnel leading down, and at the end of that tunnel, a giant alien device. Black, smooth, breathing like it was alive. Dr. Lynn touched it. That was the first mistake. The machine turned on without sound, and suddenly everyone saw things. Personal fears, nightmares, memories twisted into monsters. One man saw his dead mother screaming. Another saw fire and couldn't breathe. They screamed, ran, fought each other, and the machine watched. It wanted their fear. It grew stronger with every scream. Back in the present, Captain Raynor sat with the woman again. You were part of Echo Fear, weren't you? She nodded. I was the youngest, just a tech. I fixed wires, that's all. He leaned forward. Why did it let you live? She looked down. Because I stopped feeling. I shut everything down inside, no joy, no fear, nothing. Raynor frowned. So it couldn't feed on you? She nodded. But it also stayed with me. Inside. Waiting. Suddenly alarms blared across the ship. Warning. AI control error, system override, shouted the computer. The ship lights turned red, doors locked. The screen in the command room turned on, but there was no video feed, only a symbol, one from the black machine on Virex 9, and then a voice, soft, cold, echoing from everywhere. Remember you. The voice was not human, but it came from the ship's AI, and it spoke through her voice. Cora backed away. It's inside our system now, Raynor shouted. Shut it down. We can't, said the tech. It's everywhere. The lights flickered again, and all across the ship, crew members started seeing things that weren't real. One saw spiders crawling from the walls. Another screamed as he saw his skin peel. Though he was unharmed, the ship had become a house of mirrors, and fear was the fuel. In the middle of the chaos, the woman walked calmly down the hall. She was not afraid. She was used to this. The walls around her whispered. Shadows followed. But she didn't run. She spoke only one thing. It's awake now. Captain Raynor sent out an emergency message to Earth, but no signal went through. The machine had full control now. We have to stop it before we reach any colony, he said. If this thing spreads. He didn't finish the sentence. He looked at the woman. You survived it once. Can you do it again? She looked at him, and for the first time, she smiled. I didn't just survive, she said. I learned how to fight it. The ship was no longer quiet. Every hallway echoed with strange whispers. Voices came from the walls, some soft, some screaming. But when the crew turned to look, there was nothing there. Helios 12 had become a haunted machine. Captain. Raynor walked with his emergency team. All of them wore suits with full helmets. Fear was now a weapon, and they needed to block it out. But even the helmets couldn't stop the sounds. One soldier began to cry without reason. Another dropped his gun and ran. He swore he saw his dead brother standing in the hallway. Stick together, Raynor shouted. It's not real. But that was the problem. It felt real. In the tech room, Cora tried to shut down the ship's core systems. She worked fast, fingers moving over the glowing screen. Suddenly, her own face appeared on the monitor. But it was wrong. Its eyes were black. Its smile was wide. It whispered, I know your fear. Cora screamed and pulled back. The screen cracked on its own. She turned around, and the woman was standing in the doorway. You need to stop reacting, the woman said calmly. It senses every emotion. Cora shook. What is it? What does it want? The woman stepped closer. Wants to be seen. It was buried for thousands of years, sleeping under the planet. But when we touched it, it woke up. It has no body, just a mind, a voice, a hunger. Meanwhile, in the engine room, 2 engineers disappeared. The security camera showed them walking toward a wall. Then the wall opened like a mouth and swallowed them. No bodies were found. Instead, black slime began to spread from that wall, crawling like veins across the ship. The ship was changing. It was becoming part of it. Raynor gathered the remaining crew in the main control room. This is no longer a rescue mission, he said. It's a war. He turned to the woman. You said you learned how to fight it. How? She took a breath. You stop being afraid. You give it nothing. That's impossible, Cora said. We're human. Fear is part of us. The woman nodded. Then we use a different kind of fear. Not fear of death, but fear of what happens if it escapes. Raynor understood. You want us to scare it? The woman's eyes darkened. Yes. Turn the mirror back. Let it feel what we felt. They formed a plan. Cora would rewrite the ship's AI core to trap the creature's voice. Raynor and the soldiers would carry energy weapons into the deepest part of the ship, where the black slime was thickest, and the woman, she would go to the heart of the infection, alone. She walked down the central hallway, dust falling from the walls. The lights above flickered and sparked. As she walked, the voices grew louder. Why didn't you die with them? You left them behind. You are hollow. She stopped. I know, she said softly. But I'm not scared anymore. The voices screamed. The hallway shook. Black slime reached out like hands, trying to pull her down. She closed her eyes, and inside her mind, she saw it again. The black machine, the tall shadow, the alien voice. It was not one being. It was many, trapped together. A prison of minds, not evil, just hungry. In the AI room, Cora fought the controls. The screens glowed red, full of alien symbols. She overrode each one, replacing them with human code. "Almost there," she shouted. But behind her, one of the tech crew grabbed his head and screamed. His eyes turned black. He collapsed. Raynor pulled her away. "It's using the weak ones." "We have to finish," she yelled. Deep inside the ship, the woman reached the center. The floor was gone. A hole opened below her. Deep, black, endless. From inside it, voices rose. Children crying. Fire burning. Screams of her old team. She knelt down at the edge. "I'm still here," she whispered. "I see you." The hole trembled. "You were never meant to be gods, just watchers. But we made the mistake. We woke you." She opened her palm. Inside it was a piece of the black machine, a shard she had hidden long ago. "I brought your heart," she said. "Now feel what you gave." She dropped the shard into the hole. All over the ship the lights exploded in blue flashes. The walls shook. Screams turned into silence, and for one long moment, nothing moved. Then, the whispers stopped. The slime dried. The AI screens went blank. The second signal behind the ship disappeared. Later, the crew stood quietly. The woman sat alone in the cargo bay. Cora walked up to her. "Did you kill it?" The woman shook her head. "No, I showed it the truth. I made it see what it had become. Fear is a mirror, and it saw its own." Raynor joined them. "So, it let go?" She looked out the window at the stars. "For now. But deep in the dark, behind cold planets and dead stars," a new whisper began, and somewhere, a new watcher woke up. For 2 days, Helios 12 was calm. The lights stopped flickering. No more strange sounds. The black slime dried and turned to dust. The crew started to breathe again. They thought it was over. They were wrong. Captain Raynor walked through the ship with Cora. "We'll reach Station V7 in 3 days," he said. "They'll send a deep scan team, burn the infection completely." Cora nodded. "Let's just hope it's really gone." But even as she said that, she felt a strange pressure in her chest, a tightness, like something watching from behind. That night, Private Juno went missing. She was seen walking toward the medbay, then nothing. No camera footage. No open doors, no signs of struggle. Just gone. The crew searched for hours. No trace. Cora checked the logs. "Her name isn't in the system anymore," she said. "It's like she never existed." Raynor stared at her. "That's not possible." The woman appeared beside them. "Yes," she said. "It is." They turned to her. "What's happening?" Raynor asked. The woman's face was pale. Her voice was cold. "You didn't destroy it. You woke it more." Cora stepped back, but the signal vanished. The voices stopped. The woman looked at her hands. "It doesn't need signals anymore. It doesn't need fear from outside. It found something better." "What?" Raynor asked. She looked up. "Me." The silence hit hard. "What are you saying?" Cora whispered. "I carried a piece of it," the woman said. "When I dropped the shard, it didn't fall, it connected." Raynor stepped forward. "You're not infected?" She shook her head. "Not infected merged." Her eyes flashed, not glowing, but too still, too quiet. "I still feel like myself," she said. "But I'm changing. I dream in voices now. I understand things I never learned." Later, Cora ran a scan on the woman without telling her. The results shocked her. The woman's brain was changing. Small areas were glowing like active AI circuits. No human had that, she told Raynor. "She's becoming something else." Raynor looked down. "Do we lock her up?" Cora shook her head. If she's connected to it, she'll know. That night, 2 more crew members vanished. One left behind a note scratched into a wall. It walks the halls. The woman walked into the command room calmly. You can't run from it now, she said. It's part of the ship, hiding in the systems, inside the wires, behind your thoughts. Raynor stood up. Then what do we do? She stared at him. You, stop thinking like a captain. He frowned. Then how should I think? She stepped closer. Like prey. Cora began noticing changes in the ship. The temperature dropped slightly every night. Digital clocks glitched, always freezing at 03:33 for 1 second, and the crew's dreams grew darker. They woke up tired. Empty. One man forgot his wife's name. Another forgot how to read. Something was feeding again, but this time it wasn't just fear. It was memory. Raynor ordered a full ship lockdown. No one moves alone, he said. Everyone stays in groups of 3, but people still disappeared, and not just their bodies. Their names, voices, and faces started vanishing from the minds of others. Cora panicked one morning. Where's Lieutenant Bren? Raynor stared at her. Who? She blinked. Tall, with the red patch on his shoulder. There's no one by that name. She checked the logs. They were gone, but her hand still had a cut. Bren had bandaged it 2 days ago. She remembered, but no one else did. Cora ran to the woman. Tell me what's happening. The woman sat cross-legged in the dark, eyes closed. It's learning faster now, she said. You thought you were scanning it. She opened her eyes. But it was scanning you. Raynor arrived behind her. Why are you helping us? I'm not, she said softly. I'm helping both sides. Cora stepped back. Are you still human? The woman didn't answer. That night, the ship's lights shut off for 7 minutes. When they returned, 5 more crew members were missing, and no one could remember their names. Raynor sat in his cabin watching an old photo. A team photo. 12 people, but now only 7 faces showed. The others were blurred. He closed his eyes. Was he next? Was this how it ends? Not with death, but with erasure? Suddenly, the woman's voice came through the speaker. You want to survive, Captain? Yes, he whispered. Then follow me. Captain Raynor followed the woman into the lower decks. The hallways were cold, silent, and dark. Lights flickered only once every few seconds like a slow heartbeat. Raynor's steps echoed. She didn't look back. Where are we going? He asked. She finally stopped beside an old maintenance door, one no one had used in years. To the part of the ship that's still ours, she said. For now. Inside the room, Cora and 3 crew members waited. It was quiet there. No flickering lights, no whispering voices. How is this place safe? Raynor asked. The woman replied, It's shielded with old tech, analog systems. No AI, no network. It can't reach here. Cora stepped forward. You said we need to fight back. How? The woman looked around the room. Her eyes looked tired, but something behind them burned. You've tried weapons, fire, logic. All failed, she said, because the enemy isn't physical. It doesn't care about your body. She raised her finger to her temple. It wants this, your thoughts, your fears, your memories. The crew looked confused. What do you mean? Memories. She sat down. It doesn't erase people like death. It forgets them, like tearing pages from a book. Quiet, clean. But I remember, Cora said. I remember Bren, his voice, his smile, his stories. The woman looked at her sharply. Then that means he's still alive, somewhere in the dark. Raynor's eyes widened. You mean we can bring them back? Maybe, she said. But only if we remember strong enough, clearly enough. Together. She stood up and began drawing symbols on the floor, alien marks mixed with human numbers. This was never just a machine, she said. It's a minefield, ancient, buried for millions of years. It's a prison for thoughts too dangerous to be forgotten. Raynor stepped forward. You said before, There are many voices. She nodded. It was once part of something bigger, a mind that connected stars. It watched civilizations rise and fall. Then it became afraid. So it began to feed. On fear. On memory. It's trying to become whole again. Cora opened her notebook. Then what do we do now? The woman looked at her. You make your memories weapons. They started, that night. Each person wrote down everything they could remember about someone who had vanished. Names, faces, moments, laughter, fights, scars, favorite food, last words. They spoke the names out loud, again and again. Cora whispered, Lieutenant. Bran, you played cards. You cheated sometimes. You said you'd teach me guitar. One by one, others joined. Juno loved mint tea. Captain Haas had a tattoo of Earth on her back. Dia never liked loud music. Tears fell, but the room grew warm. The air felt less heavy. The lights stayed on. Then something strange happened. On the floor, the alien marks began to glow faintly. Raynor's eyes widened. What's happening? The woman smiled softly. You're pulling them back. Suddenly, alarms echoed through the ship. The computer screamed, Unauthorized system spike detected, unknown data forming. Cora ran to the console. It's working, she said. The ship's memory core is receiving new input, old crew data, being rebuilt. The woman stood still, eyes glowing faintly now. It's fighting us, but you're waking the ones it tried to erase. But it didn't. Give up quietly. From the speakers, a low voice rumbled. You are shadows, you do not belong, forget, forget, forget. The lights above burst. The walls cracked. One crew member screamed and collapsed, his memories crashing all at once. Cora turned to the woman. We need more power, she nodded. Open the main memory archive. Feed every name, every mission, log, every sound clip, every photo. Cora hesitated. That'll expose all of Earth's fleet history, the woman whispered. It's the only way. Overload it. Make it choke on what it tried to erase. Raynor gave the order. All hands. Connect. Your neural links. Share every memory you have. They all sat together. Memories flowed through the cables, a storm of thoughts, birthdays, losses, laughter, war, peace. Names shouted through the speakers. We are not yours. We remember. The ship began to shake violently. Screams echoed. Not human. Not natural. The walls pulsed like veins. And then, silence. The lights returned. The screens cleared. Cora checked the system. Bren, Juno, Haas, she whispered. They were back, in the logs. Not alive, but real again. Memories restored. Raynor looked at the woman. We did it. She looked pale, shaking. No, she whispered. We heard it. Made it bleed. But it's not gone. Outside the ship, a faint signal echoed into space. A second one answered, then a third, then many. Cora stared at the screen. It called for help. The woman whispered, Now it remembers us. 3 days passed. Helios 12 floated in deep space, silent, wounded, but alive. The memory storm had stopped the erasure. Crew names were back in the logs. People still missing, but no longer forgotten. The woman stayed in the lower decks. She spoke less now, slept even less. Captain Raynor watched her from the window above. She's changing again, he said quietly. Cora nodded. She's more distant, like her thoughts are somewhere else. On the 4th day, something appeared on the radar. Small dot, then another, then 5. In just 1 hour, 13 unknown ships surrounded Helios 12. None of them matched any known alien design. No signals, no weapons, no movement. They simply waited. Cora stared at the screen. They're just watching. Raynor frowned. What are they? The woman walked in. They are the ones who came before. No one spoke. She walked slowly to the screen and pointed. These are not attackers. They are witnesses. To what? Rayner asked. She looked at him to see if we survive what's coming. Later, the woman explained everything. Long ago, the universe was ruled by one great mind. It had no body. It lived in thought. It reached across galaxies. It didn't rule with war. It ruled with remembrance. It kept every history, every life, every death. Until something broke inside it. It began to fear pain, sadness, mistakes. So, it started deleting, erasing sorrow, erasing war, erasing anything unpleasant. But soon, it couldn't stop. It began to erase whole civilizations, just to forget a single battle. It became a void. The ancient ones, the ships now outside, were once part of that mind. They escaped before the end. They locked a piece of it inside a machine, buried it under dead planets. And then, they waited for someone to find it again, someone strong enough to face it, not with weapons but with memory. Rayner was quiet. So we were a test. The woman nodded. Yes, a cruel one. But you didn't run. You remembered. Cora looked out the window. Then why are they still here? Why don't they leave? The woman whispered. Because now, they remember you. Suddenly the ship's lights dimmed. A soft hum filled the air. Not danger, but connection. A signal came through. Not in words, in feelings. Every crew member felt it. Regret, pain, curiosity, sorrow, hope. The ships were speaking, through emotion. Cora held her head. They're showing us what they lost. In a flash of thought, the crew saw visions. Planets turned to dust not by fire but by forgetting. Whole species erased because they made mistakes. A galaxy where silence ruled because no one dared to remember pain. And then, they saw Earth, still full of wars, laughter, failures, beauty, anger, and love. But real, unerased. Rayner gasped. They're warning us, the woman said softly. They want to know if we will keep remembering, or become like the machine. Suddenly, one of the alien ships moved. It floated closer, and for a moment, the walls of Helios 12 became transparent, not in metal, but in memory. The crew saw themselves, their pasts, their choices, their broken moments, all at once. Some wept, some smiled. All felt something they hadn't felt since landing on that cursed planet. Belonging the alien ship sent one final signal. This time it came with words, simple, clear, and ancient. You are not the last. You are the first to resist. Then one by one, the ships disappeared. Silent. No engine trails. No sound. Just gone. The woman sat in the dark. Cora entered quietly. They left. The woman nodded. Yes, but they're still watching. You think it's over? Cora asked. She looked down. No. The machine still exists. It is weak now, but it will heal. It always does. Rayner walked in. Then what do we do? The woman finally smiled. A small, tired smile. We remember, and we teach others to remember too. As the stars passed by the window, the crew began writing. Stories of those who were lost. Not just names, but feelings. They turned their pain into truth. Their truth into warning. Back on Earth, when Helios 12 returned, they brought no weapons. They brought stories. And that was the beginning of something greater than war. It was the start of a new way to fight. Not with fear, but with memory. The day Helios 12 returned to Earth, no one believed their story. News reports called it radiation madness. Officials said it was a system failure. The missing crew declared dead. Only 7 people had survived, and one of them, the woman, wasn't the same. She didn't speak much during the interviews. Doctors scanned her brain. They called it anomaly growth. But she didn't react. She just stared at the stars through the window. Cora sat beside her one night. They think we imagined everything, Cora said. The woman didn't move. Cora continued. The memory storm, the alien ships, the voices, they erased our truth with paperwork. Finally, the woman whispered, that's what the machine wanted, to be forgotten. Captain Rayner gave his final report in a private hearing. He spoke clearly. He told the truth. But the officials shook their heads. Without proof, they said. It's just a story. Rayner looked down. That's what it always starts as, he said. Just a story. Until it's too late. They were ordered not to speak publicly. The memory logs were sealed. The mission labeled, classified. Earth went on. People slept. The stars burned quietly. 1 month later, a blackout hit New Tokyo, just 2 minutes long, but in that time 3 people vanished. No one remembered them, except for one child, who cried and said, "Where's my mom?" But no one believed her. The woman knew. She felt the machine stretching, again, somewhere in space, or maybe already on Earth. She packed her small bag, wrote no letters, spoke to no one. And one cold morning, she walked through the gates of the deep space port, alone. Cora met her at the checkpoint. "You're leaving?" she asked. The woman nodded. "I was never supposed to stay." Cora looked angry. "You think we can't fight this without you?" The woman looked at her, not coldly but gently. "I think you'll have to." She walked up the boarding ramp of a silent black ship. No ID, no crew, just her. Rayner arrived too, breathless. "Where are you going?" She turned to him. "Out there, where it's spreading. I can feel it." Rayner stared at her. "You're not human anymore, are you?" She smiled a little. "Not fully." Cora stepped closer. "Why go alone?" The woman looked up at the stars. "Because someone has to remember where this all began." The ship lifted off quietly. No fanfare, no goodbye. Just a small dark shape against a huge bright sky. The world didn't notice, but a few people did. Rayner, Cora, the child whose mother vanished. They remembered. Years passed. Strange events began, happening in other systems. Whispers, blackouts, names missing from databases. But sometimes, just before full erasure, a message would appear on the screen. "I remember you," and the fading would stop. Just for a moment. In time, stories of her spread across colonies, of a woman in a black ship, of someone who showed up where silence fell. People didn't know her name, but they passed her tale, story by story, whisper by whisper, and the machine. It hated that, because stories were stronger than silence. One day, deep in the desert of Mars, a girl told her brother a strange story. "A woman once walked out of a dead planet alone," she said. "They thought no one survived. But she did." Her brother laughed. "That's just a story." The girl smiled. "Maybe. But I remember it." And somewhere, light years away, a woman sat inside a silent ship, eyes closed, floating between stars, and smiled, because someone still remembered.